Ferguson videos are powered by Jetline Systems.
Hello YouTube, this is Frugal, and this is an incredibly intimidating video to make. Here I am in the brand new, developed by Ego Dynamics and Belsim Tech, DCS FA-18C Block 20, the new DCS Fighter, that is due to release, in quotes, very soon, according to Mac Wagner. Not entirely sure exactly what that means. Also new is this. Hello Dubai, we're in the Persian Gulf. This is the new map that's going to be releasing fairly soon, or I should say, in quotes, once again, very soon, for DCS World. Now this is intimidating because, well, let's rewind a little bit on the calendar. In February of 2011, a brand new study level aircraft for DCS World released. That would be the DCS A10C Warthog. And we all looked at that study level beast, and we all looked at the hundreds of pages of documentation. We all drooled, we all dove in, we all said, this is fantastic. I cannot wait until the first similar study level jet arrives in DCS World. And here it is, 7 and a bit years later. There is a huge fan base for this aircraft. It is an incredibly popular aircraft both in the real world and in the simulated world, as evidenced by the popularity of VRS's Superbug on FSX and Prepared. As a result, a lot of you know a vast amount more about this aircraft than I do. So that's intimidating, to say the least. Second of all, it is a study level aircraft. Now, there are two types of aircraft in DCS. There are what I call reduced realism aircraft, which are aircraft that typically below the surface have some very high definition systems and high definition and highly realistic flight models, but which don't have fully interactive cockpits. Things like the F-15, things like the MiG-29, things like the Flanker and stuff like that. These are aircraft which, to all intents and purposes, personify the lock-on era of aircraft, because they all didn't have interactive cockpits either, and they had that reduced complexity inside the cockpit. Then there are the full study level beasts, the A10C Warthog, the Huey, the KA-50 Black Shark, and this, the FA-18C Hornet. The study levels are absolutely bonkers. They have all the level of depth and detail that you would get out of a study level aircraft on FSX or Prepared. So think of the A10C as being comparable in complexity to the PNDT 737NG. It's that tricky. So bearing in mind, I'm doing a first impressions video on an aircraft that I probably had only about a week to look at, and that's not a week full time, that's kind of a week juggling family and work to look at this. I don't know everything there is to know, but even so, I am having a blast. I am going to show you some of the stuff that I've learned on this. I think you're going to like it, and I think you're going to be drooling and ready to get your hands on it. First of all, let me show you just how incredible the Hornet really is. So we've gone full throttle, full afterburner. You can see the nozzles there extended to 100% as the afterburners light, kicking out that massive plume of flame behind the aircraft. And as we go to the external camera, you'll get to experience the DCS version of a sonic boom. Here it comes. Oh! That is nuts. Look at this. Look how absolutely jaw-droppingly beautiful this is. And that is the first thing that grabs you about this aircraft, is the level of detail on this is sublime. I don't think I've seen another aircraft modeled in this level of detail visually in DCS World. It is jaw-dropping, and I am so in love. Second, you'll notice the flight model. Let me try to show you some of the flight model here. So I'm going to pull the power off. We're going to level off. We're going to go up. Up. You can see the vapor trails coming off the front there. And we're basically going to stall this at about 12,000 feet. It's very hard to maintain a vertical profile. Look, we're kind of doing the FA-18's version of a Cobra here. All right, full forward, full right stick, full right rudder. Let the nose come down. Let's put in some power. Let it start rotating. Afterburners engaged. Ease up on the stick and gently pull the beastie out of that fatal plummet. Love the flight model on this aircraft. And there we are, still at 14,000 feet. I'm sorry if I'm getting a little bit breathless, but this is such good fun. It's incredible. Anyway, let me show you some of the systems. I'm getting a little carried away with myself. The cool thing that I have found, if you are unfamiliar, let me fly back. In fact, I'm not going to. Yes, I am. I'm going to bank this over. We'll fly back towards Dubai as it is, and we'll drop this towards about 10,000 feet. The cool thing I have found with the FA-18C, this is a an intercept aircraft and a fighter aircraft. It is designed to scramble fast in response to an incoming threat. So as a result, while it is hideously complex, you'll notice that there are fewer switches down here in the office than there are in the A10C. It is highly automated, the idea being to reduce the workload on the pilot, let the pilot do what they do best, which is thinking tactically, thinking strategically, and thinking in terms of keeping themselves safe and neutralizing any threat that they come across. So as a result, everything, or a lot of things in here, are very, very automated and a dream to use. Check this out. I'm going to increase the throttles here. You can see down here the throttle display, we're going up to 92% now on the engines. Going to increase the speed here to about 300 knots, right? You can see on the HUD there, 264, 270, coming up, coming up, coming up. Now I've set up a Thrustmaster Warhog profile to match the real aircraft, and on my throttles there is an ATC button. ATC stands for Auto Throttle Control. We have an auto throttle in this. Look, the aircraft is managing that itself. All you need to do is get it at the speed you want it to be at and say, now you take over. And it will, which is incredible. It takes a lot of workload off the pilot. So now I'm using the trim controls, and I've trimmed this beastie somewhat out. Let me try to bring the nose up a little bit more. I'm going to trim it around about there. And we'll go down here to the UFC, the upfront controller. And what I'm going to say is barometric altitude hold. And we're now holding altitude, 11,470 feet. Let us also now put this into a 30-degree bank around to the side, and then we'll press attitude hold here. Now we're in an attitude hold. It will hold 11,420-ish feet. It will also hold 30 degrees-ish of bank. I can take my hands off the controls, I can look around, and I can dive into the displays, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Excuse me while I adjust my seat. So if we look down here, these are DDIs. That's the name for these two displays. Now this is an early access aircraft. When this releases, some of the systems, some of the key systems will not be available for you. And I'm sorry, but that's just fine. I've seen a lot of people on the forums complaining that you're not going to have these systems. You're not going to have these weapons. You're not going to have these sensors and so on and so on. It's early access. It's not finished. You guys, me included, have been clamoring for an American or a Western modern fighter, a study level fighter in DCS World for so long. I am happy to get an unfinished aircraft and learn what is in there while the team use the funding from that early access program to go and develop the rest of the bits. I'm completely fine with that. Let me show you what is in here. So over here we've got the stores management. Currently I've got a couple of 9M missiles on the left and the right. There's one of them, and a gun. If I click on this middle button here, we go to the tactical view, and I can bring up the stores display. I can bring out the attack radar, the HUD, the AZEL display, and you'll notice that stuff that isn't finished, you'll see a placeholder like that. I can bring up the SA, and again, placeholder. Let's go ahead and mirror the HUD up here, down here. Notice I'm losing my 30 degrees of bank. That's quite normal, and I think that might actually be a bug with the current implementation of the autopilot, but even so, I'll roll this around again. We'll disable ATTH and then enable it again just to put us back in position. Still at 11,420, still at 300 knots. Love this aircraft. Over here on the right hand side, let's do it again. Let's pop this open. We'll come out attack, and we'll go into the support pages. Checklists are built into this, which is kind of cool. We can also bring up here the engine display, and I can see what my engines are currently doing, current level of fuel, and so on. I can bring up the FCS, so the state of all my systems. G limiter is set to 7.5 G. Current limit of G we've hit is 6.9, so we're well under that, which is kind of cool. I can also click down here, and I can go over here, and I can bring up an HSI, so a mirror of this. You can remove that joystick, by the way, to get a clearer view of the HSI down here, but let's mirror the HSI. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All this stuff works, and it all works in conjunction, by the way, with the UFC. So for example, if I were to dial in a course hold, not that this is going to work, so I don't have anything set. You see it says course select. We'll dial in, say 1 2, whoops, all right, 220, enter. I just set a course select in against nothing because I'm not using anything, but you can see that everything kind of ties back in to this UFC. It's very, 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 very cool and lovely. Everything in here though works. Everything in here does exactly what it is supposed to do. It is intimidating, it is scary, it is challenging, it is oh so satisfying. Let's pop outside again. I'm going to turn track IR up, and we'll take a look at the outside modeling, because as I said, the outside modeling of this aircraft is sublime. I've noticed with recent aircraft they can look in some ways a little bit cartoony. This doesn't. This looks real. The developers, I think Belsimtech are primarily responsible, have done a great job at really getting and capturing the physical surfaces here, the textures and the feel of those metallic and weathered surfaces. It looks incredible. The sound set as well, also absolutely amazing. Listen, not supersonic this time. God, I love this plane. Such good fun. Really satisfying. Now, because it's so highly automated, it's actually very easy to fly. But because it's so highly automated, it's actually very hard to fly well. That's really where the challenge comes in this aircraft. And I'm not there. I'm still learning. But I'm going to show you some other stuff. I guess the two things that the FA-18 is most famous for are shooting things down and landing on small boats. So I'll cut the video here and I'll show you some shooting things down and show you just how effective a killer this thing can be. Be right back. All right, on day one of early access release of this thing, the FA-18 is going to ship with a bunch of training missions and a bunch of instant action missions. This is one of them. This is a close-in knife fight. There are 3 Su-25Ts or T-Frogs up ahead, so they're not going to fight back, really. And they are very, very close. It's a close-in knife fight because I'm just going to pop open the Sidewinders and engage all 3 of them very, very rapidly. Doesn't really show you anything other than just how effective this thing is in the air. So let's bring up the Sidewinder. There it is. I got a good tone already. Fire 1. Now we'll move on to the second target, and 2. And we'll go into the third target, which is just turning rapidly, trying to avoid me. One of them just went down. And 3. Done. It's actually quite anticlimactic. It's so easy to engage stuff using the Sidewinder. It's a lot more tricky, obviously, when you start looking down here at these radar modes, which are all, or many of them, I should say, are modeled here in this early access. But that was a little brief glimpse of the stuff I can figure out. I can't figure out the AMRAAMs yet and the long-range air-to-air. No doubt I will, and I'll do another video. Let's show you what it's like to land on a small fishing boat. Be right back. All right, welcome back. Here we are. We are 6 miles away from the USS Stennis. Another new thing that I think comes with the Hornet, not so much with the Persian Gulf map, is Nimitz-class air carriers. Now, as it says, the objective is either land on the Stennis with a wimpy straight-in approach, that would be this, or conduct an overhead pattern. I actually had the standard wimpy straight-in approach down-ish and thought I was doing pretty good. And then Matt Wagner put up a video this very weekend actually showing the correct way to do it with a full pattern, and I got completely humbled. But anyway, I want to show you this, not because I'm any good at it, but because it demonstrates the complexity of the aircraft, or more, it demonstrates the level of, I don't know, effort you need to put into mastering this aircraft. So let's click on fly. Going to increase the power a little bit. I'm going to drop the hook. Now below 250 knots, we're going to put the gear and the flaps down. For now, we're good. And what we're going to try to do is maintain an angle of attack of 8.1 degrees. And you're going to see a ladder come down here, and we need to keep the flight vector within that ladder to maintain that 8.1 degrees. It is a huge challenge. So here we come now, 270 knots. I'm heading towards the carrier. I am actually on the right angle, 250-ish. So let's put the gear down. Let's get full flaps. We know the hook's already down. That's going to make my speed drop quite dramatically. There's the ladder. It just appeared at the top of the HUD. So now I need to drop that, oh God, flight path vector down. I'm going to try to get this down to about 135 knots. So I'm trimming those up now. There, you can see the flight path vector is in the middle of the ladder, but now it's too slow. It's too low complete, which means I'm too slow. You can see the angle of attack indicator on the left of the HUD is showing the wrong thing. What we need to be seeing is just a solid circle in that AOA indicator, which I can't point out with the mouse because I'm busy. But to the left of the HUD. And we do that by keeping the flight path vector inside that ladder, juggling trim, juggling speed, juggling power. It is crazy hard to do really well. If you watch Matt Wagner's videos, in fact, if you go watch videos of professional people doing this for real, it's stunning how in control they are all the way down, and quite humiliating and humbling. There, that's the right angle. Now it's not. That is, now it still is. I'm actually doing all right. Okay, bit more power, no, a bit less power. The engine's obviously very, very sensitive. You don't want to be a little bit too crazy with the power. I'm actually a little bit too fast, but I do have the right angle here. No, now I don't. A little bit too high and maybe fast. There, we're good. I'm going to try to get it down. Oh my God. The flight path vector now, the angle of attack indicator is telling me bad. I don't have the ball, which is the indicator to the left of the cockpit. I am down. Full power just in case I'm not. Holy crap. We're down. So, gosh, what I can do now is raise the hook, and then we might as well go and click on this thing. Hang on, there we go. And we'll rotate that all the way around, fold the wings. Got to master caution up, which is quite normal. Waiting for the wings to fold here. There they go. Pull the flaps up as well. Wing folding. Now, taxiing. You can give it some power, obviously. You can start steering with the rudder pedals and it will start to turn the way it should. You can also hold in a toggle on the joystick which will engage high mode. You can see it says NWS high, which gives you a significantly improved rate of turn on the ground, or more importantly on an aircraft carrier, where you can maneuver the aircraft in quite a confined space. But that's pretty cool, right? Let's drop out of this and look at the replay of what that looked like. It wasn't the best landing in the world, but you just saw a glimpse there, albeit, you know, I really don't know what I'm doing and I'm not claiming to be an expert on this, but you can see the level of challenge involved in bringing this thing down correctly on an aircraft carrier. Let's go look at the replay. Hopefully I can show you that in some more detail. All right, here we go. I still have track IR on, so I'm going to recenter and turn that off. There we go. So there we go. I had to put the hook down pretty much immediately and to put the speed brake out to try to slow us down. And you can already see here, actually, although we're quite fast, you can see how much the aircraft is moving around in the air. The flight modeling on this is, and I understand they're tweaking it. It's not quite there, but I think the flight model is sublime. I've never flown an F-18 for real, but to my uneducated eyes, it looks and feels great. And that's really what this is all about for me. They go to gear, wonderful animations on the landing gear as they come down. So gear down, flaps down now, speed brake in, hook down. Those little stutters in the frameway there were already DCS picking up that I turned track IR off, so don't worry about that. A little bit more speed brake just to try to bring this out. And now what we're trying to do is just manage the speed, just balance that speed and the angle of attack, which you can see, by the way. I'm going to point the arrestor hook at it. There, at the bottom of the screen. You can see my angle of attack is varying between 5 and about 9 degrees. We want 8.1 as perfect. Such a huge challenge trying to keep this aircraft in the right profile. Wonderful contrails coming off the wingtips there, or a missile on the edge of the wings. But that's kind of about as good as I get it. 8-ish to 9. And you can already see what a huge challenge it is. Let's go to a flyby and you can see some more of the dynamic nature of what it's like to fly this at slow speed in a dirty configuration towards a moving boat. Absolutely nuts. The guys and girls that do this are beyond talented and brave. And here we go for the touchdown. Let's see which line I catch. I think it's probably the first one. Yep, because I hit the deck a little bit too soon. Although it shows in the animation I caught the middle trap, which is great, but I really didn't. Anyway, look, that's all I've got for you guys. As I said, I'm not in any way an expert on this. Do expect more videos on this, though. I am working on it. This is the early access first impressions view of the early access DCS FA-18C Hornet, being developed by being developed by Ego Dynamics and Belsim Tech. It is going to be available for you, in quotes, very soon, as is the Persian Gulf map. I can't wait. It is great to have a modern era Western attack jet, in particular an American one, let's be frank, available in DCS World. This is long awaited. It's phenomenal. Next up, I hope they do that helicopter that's flying in the background there. A Black Hawk would be incredible. As always, my name is Frugal. Thank you so much for putting up with my ineptitude. And until next time, I'll see you all very soon.